Okay, sorry about that. I was trying to use a different camera for my live video, but yeah, that didn't work out because it kept freezing and then it cut off. So yeah, we're gonna just stick with the handy dandy computer camera. That's what we're gonna stick with. Yes, it's a little bit worse quality, but that's okay. We're gonna still stick with it. Chapter 10. So now we're picking back up with chapter 10. Just a quick rundown. We already prayed or what have you. My camera, like I said, it cut off. So we're back now. Okay. It says, and we're in the book of the Apocrypha, the authorized King James Version. If you haven't already done so, please order your copy of this book, so that you can follow along with us as we read the book of Second Ezra. The Greek translation is Esdras, but that is Ezra when you translate it from Hebrew. Alright. And it so came to pass that when my son was entered into his wedding chamber, he fell down and died. So, wow. This woman is sad because she had been praying for a son. Okay. Because she was barren. And when she finally gave birth to a son in her older age, or I don't know if she was older or what, but when she finally came to the point where she gave birth to a son, after much prayer, she grew the son, she raised him and everything, and come time for him to get a wife, she made a feast for him. And right now in chapter 10, because that was chapter 9 yesterday that was reading, and it left off with saying that she had made a feast for him. But now in chapter 10 it says, and it so came to pass that when my son was entered into his wedding chamber, he fell down and died. Then we all overthrew the lights, and all my neighbors rose up to comfort me. So I took my rest until the second day at night. And it came to pass, when they had all left off to comfort me, to the end I might be quiet. Then rose I up by night, and fled, and came hither to this field, and thou seest, as thou seest. And I do now purpose not to return into the city, but here to stay, and neither to eat nor drink, but continually to mourn and to fast until I die. Then I left the meditations wherein I was, and spake to her in anger, saying, oh, Ezra switched up. He said he left the meditations of where he was to speak to her, but in anger. It said, I wasn't expecting that. That's a twist. Because she just said she lost her son, and she's mourning, and he said yeah, this is a twist. I wasn't expecting him to say that. He said, because she said, and I do now purpose not to return into the city, but here to stay, and neither to eat nor drink, but continually to mourn and to fast until I die. Then Ezra said, then I left the meditations wherein I was, and spake to her in anger, saying, Whew, thou foolish woman above all others, seest thou not our mourning, and what happening unto us? How that Zion our mother is full of all heaviness, and much humbled mourning, very sore. And now seeing we all mourn and are sad, for we are all in heaviness, art thou grieved for one son? Wow. He's speaking to her like she ain't supposed to be upset about her son being dead. Yeah, we're gonna keep reading, because yeah, we reading this together, y'all. Says, for ask the earth, and she shall tell thee that it is she which ought to mourn for the fall of so many that grow upon her. Oh, for out of her came all at the first, and out of her shall all others come. And behold, they walk almost all into destruction, and a multitude of them is utterly rooted out. Who then should make more mourning than she that have lost so great a multitude, and not thou, which art sorry but for one? But if thou sayest unto me, my lamentation is not like the earth's, because I have lost the fruit of my womb, which I brought forth with pains and bear with sorrows, but the earth not so, for the multitude present in it according to the course of the earth is gone as it came. Then I say unto thee, like as thou hast brought forth with labor, even so the earth have given her fruit, namely man, ever since the beginning unto him that made her. Now therefore keep thy sorrow to thyself, and bear with a good courage that which hath befallen thee. For if thou shalt acknowledge the determination of God to be just, thou shalt both receive thy son in time, and shalt be commended among women. Verse 17 says, Go thy way then into the city to thine husband. And she said unto me, That will I not do. I will not go into the city, but here will I die. 19. So I proceeded to speak further unto her and said, Do not so be, but be I'm sorry, y'all. Verse 20 says, Do not so, but be counseled by me. For how many are the adversities of Zion? Be confident in regard of the sorrow of Jerusalem. For thou seest that our sanctuary is laid waste, our altar broken down, our temple destroyed. Our psaltery is laid on the ground. Our song is put to silence. Our rejoicing is at an end. The light of the candlestick is put out. The ark of the covenant is spoiled. Our holy things are defiled, and the name that is called upon us is almost profaned. Our children are put to shame. Our priests are burnt. Our Levites are gone into captivity. Our virgins are defiled, and our wives ravished. Our righteous men carried away. Our little ones destroyed. Our young men are brought into bondage, and our strong men are become weak. And which is the greatest of all? The seal of Zion have now the seal of Zion hath now lost her honor, for she is delivered into the hands of them that hate us. It says, And therefore shake off thy great heaviness, and put away the multitude of sorrows, that the mighty may be merciful unto thee. I'm sorry. That the mighty may be merciful unto thee again, and the highest shall give thee rest and ease from thy labor. Verse 25 says, And it came to pass, while I was talking with her, behold, her face upon a sudden shined exceedingly, and her countenance glistered, so that I was afraid of her, and mused what it might be. He said he was talking to her, and all of a sudden, her face, her face took a whole nother presentation, basically. And he said he became afraid. It says, verse 26, And behold, suddenly she made a great cry, very fearful, so that the earth shook at the noise of the woman. And I looked, and behold, the woman appeared unto me no more. But there was a city builded, and a large place showed itself from the foundations. Then was I afraid, and cried with a loud voice, and said, Where is Uriel, the angel, who came unto me at the first? For he hath caused me to fall into many trances, and he has caused me to fall into many trances, and my end is turned into corruption, and my prayer to rebuke. And as I was speaking these words, behold, he came unto me and looked upon me. Verse 30 says, and lo, I lay as one that had been dead, and my understanding was taken from me. And he took me by my right hand, and comforted me, and set me upon my feet, and said unto me, what aileth thee? And why art thou so disquieted? And why is thine understanding troubled, and the thoughts of thine heart? And I said, because thou hast forsaken me, and yet I did according to thy words. And I went into the field, and lo, I have seen, and yet see, that I am not able to express. And he said unto me, stand up manfully, and I will advise thee. Then said I, speak on, my Lord, in me. Only forsake me not, lest I die frustrate of my hope. For I have seen that I knew not, and hear that I do not know. Or is my sense deceived, or my soul in a dream? Now therefore I beseech thee that thou wilt show thy servant of this vision. He answered me then and said, hear me, and I shall inform thee, and tell thee wherefore thou art afraid, for the highest will reveal many secret things unto thee. He hath seen that thy way is right, for that thou sorrowest continually for thy people, and makest great lamentation for Zion. Says, this therefore is the meaning of the vision that thou lately sawest. It says, thou sawest a woman mourning, and thou beginnest to comfort her. Let me, because look, we all want to know this. What does this mean? It says, thou sawest a woman mourning, and thou beginnest to comfort her. But now seest thou the likeness of the woman no more, but there appeared unto a city builded. And whereas she told thee of the death of her son, this is the solution. This woman whom thou sawest is Zion, and whereas she said unto thee, even she whom thou seest as a city builded. Whereas I say, she said unto thee that she had been 30 years barren. Those are the 30 years wherein there was no offering made in her. But after 30 years, Solomon builded the city and offered offerings. I'm sorry, y'all. My highlighter all of a sudden stopped working. Yeah, we ain't gonna get Satan no glory today, honey. I'm just gonna find my other highlighter, and we're gonna keep it moving. Verse 46. But after 30 years, Solomon builded the city and offered offerings, and then bare the barren a son. And whereas she told thee that she nourished him with labor, that was the dwelling in Jerusalem. But whereas she said unto thee that my son coming into his marriage chamber happened to have a fall and died, this was a destruction that came to Jerusalem. Wow, y'all. Verse 49 says, and behold, thou sawest her likeness, and because she mourned for her son, thou beginnest to comfort her, and these things which have chanced, to comfort her, and these things which have chanced, these are to be opened unto thee. It says, I or now the Most High seeth that thou art grieved unfeignedly, and sufferest from the whole heart for her. So hath he showed thee the brightness of her glory, and the comeliness of her beauty. And therefore I bade thee remain in the field where no house was builded, for I knew that the highest would show this unto thee. Therefore I commanded thee to go into the field where no foundation of any building was, for in the place wherein the highest began to show his city, there can no man's building be able to stand. Verse 55 says, and therefore fear not, let not thine heart be affrighted, but go thy way in and see the beauty and greatness of the building. It says, as much as thine eyes be able to see, and then shalt thou hear as much as thine ears may comprehend. 57 says, for thou art blessed above many others, and art called with the highest, so are but few. But tomorrow at night thou shalt remain here, and so shall the highest show thee visions of the high things which the Most High will do unto them that dwell upon the earth in the last days. So I slept that night, and another like as he commanded me. And there's another cliffhanger. We're going to leave off right there. And tomorrow, if you want to know what happened next, you got to come back to see what happens in chapter 11. Okay? Chapter 11, you have to come back to see what happens next. Okay? And with that being said, I will see you all later today. For the, I'm going to do it at 10 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock. So I'll see you all at 10 o'clock a.m. if the Lord said the same, so we can do the book of Jasher. Okay? We can do the book of Jasher. See you soon.